Beneath a heavy winter sky, the endless taiga stretched in every direction. Snow lay in deep layers, covering old trails and footprints. A thin mist clung to the ground, and the silence was so deep you could hear every twig snap under a paw. A lone gray wolf moved through this white stillness for hours. His breath turned to clouds of steam, frost collecting on his fur. Hunger gnawed at him, but something kept pushing him forward. Then a sound. Faint, high-pitched, not a bird. The wolf stopped. In the taiga, such sounds rarely meant anything good. Step by careful step. He followed the noise until he emerged onto a small clearing. Everything here felt wrong. The snow was torn up, as if something had been desperately trying to escape. At the edge of the clearing lay a fallen pine tree. Something moved beneath its heavy trunk. The wolf approached and saw her, a young fox. Her slim red body trembled as she clawed at the snow, but she couldn't move. The trunk pinned her hind legs. Every frantic movement drained the last of her strength. The wolf froze, staring into her amber eyes. There was no fear there, only pain and desperation. She lifted her head and let out another cry, a thin, piercing sound that cut through the cold air. The wolf took a step closer. The fox didn't run, she couldn't pass. And then another smell hit him, sharp, acrid, smoke. Somewhere nearby, the forest was burning. The wind carried the faint crackle of fire. It was coming from the east, and there wasn't much time. The wolf scanned the fallen tree, found where the trunk was thinner, bit into a branch, and pulled. Nothing. He tried again, planting his paws firmly. The dry bark cracked, snow fell from the trunk, but it barely moved. The fox cried again, weaker now. The wolf backed up, gathered strength, and yanked with all the power in his muscles. The tree shifted a little. He pulled again, and again, until finally, with a groaning creak, the pine rolled just far enough. The fox started free, limping but alive. Relief lasted only a moment. The wind shifted, and smoke rushed into the clearing thick and warm. Somewhere close, branches were snapping in the flames. The wolf glanced at the fox, then bolted toward the ravine, the only path to safety. He ran, looking back. The fox stood frozen for a moment, then limped after him, her bright coat a flash of fire against the snow. Behind them, the forest roared. They raced along a frozen stream, the ice groaning beneath their paws. Burning branches crashed down around them. A flaming limb blocked the path ahead. The wolf leapt over it, but the fox slipped on the ice. The wolf turned back, nudged her forward with his muzzle until she scrambled to safety. At last, they reached an open stretch where the fire hadn't touched. The fox collapsed into the snow, sides heaving. The wolf stood watch beside her, his breath fogging the air as the orange glow of the fire painted the sky. Gradually, the roar of the blaze faded. The wind shifted again, carrying the smoke away. The fox lifted her head and looked at the wolf. For a moment, there was only silence between them. Then new sounds, barking, crunching snow, humans, hunters. The wolf's ear shot up. He knew he was an easy target out in the open. The first gunshot split the air. A bullet hit a tree trunk nearby. The wolf spun around, ready to run, but if he fled, the hunters might see the fox too. He glanced at her, and in that moment, the fox did something unexpected. She leapt to her feet and bolted not away, but toward the sound of the hunters, weaving through the snow, leaving a clear trail. The hunters shouted, their voices fading as they chased her, thinking she was their prey. The wolf stayed hidden under the branches of a spruce, watching. Minutes passed, silence returned. The fox was gone, but she had drawn the danger away. The wolf stood there for a long time, until the sky darkened and the forest grew still again. Then he turned and slowly walked away, leaving deep tracks in the snow. He didn't know if the fox would return, but now, in his tracks, there was another small, fragile, but brave that had led the fire and the hunters away. And if one winter night you ever hear a lone howl echoing across the clearing, remember, it isn't always the call of the hunt. Sometimes it's the memory of two predators who, just once, chose life over fear and saved each other.